Good morning, one and all present here. This is Amit Kumar Singh, and welcome to my second class on geometry. So, in this second class of geometry, I'll start talking about triangles. I believe you have already seen my first session on geometry, where I talked about line angles and points, and I discussed about the properties of parallel lines, particularly opposite angles, corresponding angle, alternate angles, supplementary angles, complementary angles. So we have discussed the basics on geometry. That was the first session. I really recommend everyone to please go through that before you start counting on triangles. So when we talk about triangle is very important concept on geometry. So this would be discussion on triangle would be more than one session. It can't be done in 2 hour or 3 hour. So this very important topic when we talk about geometry. So primarily for a competitive exam in geometry, we start discussing with basics of line angles. Then we talk about triangles. Then we'll talk about quadrilateral, polygons, circles, area and volumes, mass point geometry. So a lot more things need to be discussed. And geometry is very interesting. I really believe that you enjoy the due course of journey to learn geometry. So in that, let's start discussing about triangles. So when I talk about triangles, you need three non-collinear points to make a triangle, or at least one point should be non-collinear. So then you can get a triangle. When we talk about triangle, a triangle is basically a polygon which is basically made by three sides. So we have a fair picture in our mind when we talk about a triangle. So this is basically a triangle. So when we talk about triangle, I believe everyone knows that in a triangle, when I talk about a triangle, basically when I'm talking about triangle, so the sum of angles in a triangle, the sum of interior angles, not the exterior angles. So the sum of interior angles, so the sum of interior angles in a triangle, the sum of interior angle, so the sum of interior angles in a triangle is 180 degree. So the sum of interior angle in a triangle is 180 degree. Fine. Why 180 degree? I'll explain that. Then next thing you should know the property that the exterior angle of a triangle, exterior angle of a triangle, exterior angle of a triangle is equal to exterior angle of a triangle is equal to the sum of interior opposite angles, sum of interior opposite angles, very important property. So the sum of interior opposite angles. So using this property, I can prove that using this property that the exterior angle of a triangle is equal to the sum of interior opposite angles. Using this property, I can prove that the sum of exterior angles, sum of exterior angles in a triangle, sum of exterior angles in a triangle is 360 degree. So sum of exterior angles in a triangle is 360 degree. So for that, I'll use this property. So using this property, I can prove that the sum of exterior angles in a triangle is 360 degree. Okay. Then the third property of a triangle is that the sum of two sides of the triangle, sum of the two sides of a triangle is always more than the third side. The sum of two sides of a triangle is always more than the third side. Always more than the third side. So remember this very important property. So the sum of two sides of the triangle is always more than the third side. Very important property. So imagine if A, B, C are the three sides of the triangle, then A plus B would be greater than C. B plus C would be greater than A, and A plus C will be greater than B. So contradictory of not the contradictory is a inappropriate word. So extending this concept, I can say that difference the difference of two sides of the triangle, the difference of two sides of a triangle, the difference of two sides of the triangle. So the difference between the two sides of the triangle is always less than the third side. Is always less than the third side. Difference between the two sides of the triangle is always less than the third side. So it means modulus of A minus B is less than C. Modulus of B minus C is less than A, and modulus of A minus C is less than B. So this is the again very important property which you can keep in your mind. So these are basically the important properties of the triangle. So when we talk about triangle, please remember these properties, that the sum of internal angles in a triangle is 180 degree. The exterior angle is equal to the sum of interior opposite angle. The sum of exterior angles of a triangle is 360 degree, and the sum of two sides of the triangle is always more than the third side, or the difference between the two sides of the triangle is always less than the third side. Okay. Now, so now I believe you have understood so these properties. Now, one by one, I'll discuss all properties of the triangle. So one by one, I'll discuss all properties of the triangle. So suppose this is the triangle. Suppose this is your triangle A, B, C. Okay. So your angle are, this is angle A, this is angle B, this is angle C. So I told you the sum of angle A plus angle B plus angle C is 180 degree. So it's time to prove this. So you know that when the sum of angles is 180 degree, you know that we call those angles the sum, we call those angles to be supplementary. When the sum of the angles is 180 degree, so we call them, they are supplementary to each other. While when the sum of the angle while when the sum of the angle is 90 degree, we call them, they are complementary. Fine. So I believe you remember what we have done from the previous session. Now let's prove this. So in order to prove this, let me draw an imaginary line called, suppose CD. Let me draw an imaginary line called CD, such that draw a imaginary line, draw a imaginary line, draw a imaginary line called CD, such that CD is parallel to BC. So in order to prove that the sum of interior angle of a triangle is 180 degrees, so let's draw an imaginary line called CD, which should be parallel to BC. Okay, so then in that context, then I can say that if this is, then I can say that angle CAB will be equal to angle ABC. Why? They are alternate angles, in alternate interior opposite angles. Similarly, I can say angle DAC will be equal to angle ACB. Why? They are alternate angles, alternate interior opposite angles. So they are alternate angles. So based on that, I can say this would be angle B, this would be angle C. And then you know that CD is a straight line. So because CD is a straight line, now you know that, now we know that CD is a straight line. So because CD is a straight line, so then definitely the sum of angles would be 180 degree. And so then it means the sum of angle A plus angle B plus angle C will be 180 degree. I believe you are clear with this concept. Fine. So now going further, let's prove the another concept to prove that the exterior angle, that your exterior angle is equal to, sum of interior opposite angle, that your exterior angle is equal to sum of interior opposite angle. So the exterior angle is equal to sum of interior opposite angles. So your exterior angle is equal to sum of interior Now next thing to prove is that the exterior angle is equal to sum of interior opposite angle. So now let's try to prove this. So suppose this is a triangle. So this is triangle ABC, and this is the exterior angle. Suppose this is angle. Suppose this is X. This is Y. This is Z. Okay. So according to this property, the angle X should be equal to angle Y plus angle Z. Correct. The exterior angle is equal to sum of interior opposite angle. So according to that, the angle X should be equal to angle Y plus angle Z. Okay. Now you know that if this is angle X, this will be 180 minus X. You know that this would be 180 minus X, and you know that because these Y, Z, and 180 minus X are the interior angles of the triangle. So then you can say that angle Y plus angle Z plus 180 minus angle X, that will be equal to 180 degree sum of interior angles. So this and this will get cancelled. So you can say angle X is equal to angle Y plus angle Z. This is what I wanted to prove. So based on this concept, what I can say. So based on this, imagine if this is angle A, and imagine this is angle B something. So based on this, if angle X is equal to angle Y plus angle Z, so then angle A will be equal to, then angle A would be equal to, let put this as angle C something. Okay, so then angle A will be equal to angle Y plus angle C. Okay, and then angle B will be equal to angle C plus angle Z. So based on this, if you add all of them together, so here you can see angle X plus angle A plus angle B, all are the exterior angles of the triangle. So that their sum is equal to 2 times of angle Y plus angle Z plus angle C. So now the sum of angle X plus angle A plus angle B, they all are the exterior angles of the triangle, and their value is 2 times of angle Y plus Z plus C. And you know that angle Y, Z, C are the interior angles of the triangle, and the sum of interior angles of the triangle is 180 degree. So based on that, I can say sum of angle X plus angle A plus angle B, that would be equal to 360 degree. So I believe you have understood this concept. Fine. So that is important thing to understand. Fine. Then the next concept to understand. Then the next concept to understand is that the exterior angles of the triangle. Then sorry, that we did exterior angle. Then the next thing to understand a very important property, that the sum of two sides of the triangle, the sum of two. The next thing to understand is that the sum of two sides of the triangle is always more than the third side. So the sum of two sides of the triangle is always more than the third side. Okay, fine. So uh, assume then here what consideration can you do? Okay, so let assume that the perimeter of a triangle, let assume that the perimeter of a triangle is 14 centimeter or whatever. Unit doesn't matter. So let's assume the perimeter of triangle is 14 unit. So you tell me how many possible combination of sides exist. How many possible combination of sides of triangle exist? How many possible combination of sides of triangle exist? Suppose this is a question. I want to know the answer. So the sum of two sides of the triangle is always more than the third side. Now you assume there's a triangle and the perimeter of the triangle is 14 unit. Perimeter, I believe everyone understand. Perimeter basically means the sum of all sides. Suppose the sum of all sides of the triangle is 14 unit, 14 centimeter or whatever. So A plus B plus C is equal to 14. Now you tell me what are the possible combination of the sides of the triangle. Now imagine the same question if I ask you in permutation combination. And in permutation combination, simply I'm telling you how many non-negative, how many non-negative integral solution. If I ask you how many non-negative integral solution exist, non-negative integral solution exists. So the answer for that would be 16C2. So that is n plus r minus 1 c r minus 1. That is 16C2. If I ask you what is the number of, if I ask you what is the number of positive integral solution exists, what is the number of positive integral solution exists? If I ask you what is the number of positive integral solution exists, then you can say n minus 1 c r minus 1. So you can say 13C2. So then if I ask you that okay, fine. So multinomial theorem and all I can't use. Anyway, simply I was telling all this. So this is just a kind of revision. I believe you have watched my video on multinomial theorem where I discussed about permutation combination concept. So you don't have to waste your time thinking of the solution. During that time, mathematically, with using a formula, you can determine. Here I need to think. Here I don't have any other option. Okay, so let me think about the. Now you know that side cannot be zero. So let me think about the side like 1, 1, 12. So do you think this kind of side exists? No, no, right? So because the sum of two sides should be greater than third side. Okay, so let's think this. Will this work? No. The sum of two sides should be greater than the third side. Will this work? No. Now, if you understand what is happening, when I'm counting the two side, any two side if I'm taking, so what is happening? That value should be more than the third side. Okay. Now you can see. Now you can see this is not working. Now you can see this is not working. You can see this is not working because the sum of two sides I'm not getting more than the third side. See here, the sum of two sides I'm not getting more than the third side. Here they equal. Okay, so then if I talk about 1/8, so now you understand there's nowhere working. So with 1 to nothing gonna possible. With 2, let's try with 2, 2, 2, 4. So then it would be 10. Again, it's all not working. GH, then 2, 3, 9. Again not working. I, then 2, 4, 8. Not working. I, GH, I, J. Then 2, 5, 7. Again not working. So I, J, then K, then 2, 6, 2, 6, 6. So here if you notice, 2 plus 6 is 8, 8 is greater than 6, 6 plus 6 is 12 greater than 2, 6 plus 2 is 8 greater than 6. This is working. But this is one combination. So you need to understand here why this is working, because if you understand the property which I wanted you to understand, which I would have written before only, but I want to understand it will only work if a plus b should be greater than 7. So you have to understand this application will work only when a plus b should be greater than 7. Then only this application will work. If the sum of two side, if the sum of two side is less than 7, then you do whatever, this property will not work. So I hope you understand. So this is what I wanted you to understand. For that reason only I spent time writing all these cases. Anyway, so you just focus on this. The sum of two sides should be greater than 7. Then only the possibility of triangle exists. Then only the sum of two sides can be greater than third side. Many people who be intelligent, they waste they won't waste their time writing all these steps. But for normal people, they may find a little bit more conventional if I do like this way. So I believe I can explain them, or I can make them more confident if I do like this way. Okay, so IJK, then after IJKL, then L. So then it would be 275, all that not possible. Then I'll start with 3, 3. So here you see 336, no? So anyway, that is less than 7. So there's no point of writing. So I write 3, 4. If I write 3, 4, then I'm getting 7. I should get more than 7. So better write 3, 5. 8, 8 plus 6, 14. So let's try this. So 8 is greater than 6, 11 is greater than 3, and 9 is greater than 5. This is next combination. So see how fast I did. And so because I just focused that the sum of two sides should be greater than the third side. Okay. So with 3, then 3, 6, not possible. 3, 7 and all already I believe are done. 3, 7. So 3, 7, 4. There's no point of 3, 7, 4, because then I'll get the sum as 7, 3 and 4. So there's no point discussing that. Are you getting right? So KLM. So then I'll take with 4, 4, 4, 8, 8, 6. So this is 8. 8 is greater than 6, 10 is greater than 6, 10, 8 is greater than 6, 10 is greater than 4, then 10 is greater than 4. This is working. Okay. Then this is 4, 5, 5. So 10 is greater than 4, 9 is greater than 4, 10 is greater than 4, 9 is greater than 4, 9 is greater than 4. This is also working. Then 4, 6 not possible. 5, 5 already I did. 5, 5, 5, 6, 5, 6 already I did. Then 6, 6, 12, 6, 6, 2, 6, 6, 2 already I did. Then 6, 6, 6, 3 already I did. 6, 5, 6, 6, 12, 2, no, that already being done. So these are the 4 possible cases. So this would be the 4 possible cases to get the answer for this problem. So I hope you understood. The idea of discussing this concept is to make you understand the concept that exterior angles of the triangle should be greater than no, why I'm saying exterior again the sum of two sides of the triangle should be more than the third side. So I believe you understood this. So this is very important property to work on the triangle. Fine. Now going further, when I talk about a triangle, I can understand a triangle on the basis of equality of side. I can on the basis of equality of sides. I can understand a triangle on the basis of equality of sides, or I can understand a triangle on the basis of equality of angle. So I can understand a triangle on the basis of the equality of sides, or I can understand a triangle on the basis of equality of the angles. So if I talk on the basis of sides, a triangle I can discuss as a scalene triangle. A triangle, it can be scalene triangle, or it can be isosceles triangle, or it can be isosceles triangle, it can be equilateral triangle, or it can be equilateral triangle on the basis of equality of side. When I'll talk about on the basis of equality of angle, a triangle can be acute angle triangle. A triangle can be acute angle triangle, or a triangle can be right angle triangle, or a triangle can be a right angle triangle, or a triangle can be obtuse angle triangle, or a triangle can be obtuse angle triangle. So I'll spend a required amount of time on right angle triangle and equilateral triangle. Also, we try to understand more calculations on isosceles triangle also. But in future, right now, we'll not focus much on them. The thing what we should know here, very basic and important thing, you know about right angle triangle, you know Pythagoras theorem. So you know that hypotenuse square will be equal to the sum of the square of other two sides. So you know that very well. Okay. Now for acute angle triangle, you can remember that c square would be less than a square plus b square. While for obtuse angle triangle, you can remember that the c square will be greater than a square plus b square. For the obtuse angle triangle, you can remember this. Okay. So based on this, we'll solve very good question. Okay. Based on this concept, once you are confident on this, now we'll solve very good question. Now let the three sides let the three sides of the triangle obtuse angle, let the three sides of obtuse angle triangle is 8 centimeter, 15 centimeter, 15 centimeter, and x centimeter, Okay, so you have to determine the possible values of x. Determine the possible values of x. Very good question. It came in CAT exam. So think on this. How will you do this question, everyone? What are the possible values of x? Think on this. Apply the properties which I have discussed just now. The inequalities property which I have discussed just now. Apply that property to get the answer. So okay, I have not discussed about them. I believe everyone knows that what is acute angle triangle. Acute angle triangle is a triangle for which all the angles are less than 90 degree. A right angle triangle is a triangle in which one of the angle is 90 degree, while obtuse angle triangle is the triangle in which one of the angle of the triangle is more than 90 degree. Then when you talk about on the basis of equality of side, a triangle can be scale-in triangle for which all the sides are unequal. That is called scale-in triangle. Isosceles triangle is the triangle for which the two sides are equal. So that is called isosceles triangles. While equilateral triangle is a triangle for which all the sides of the triangles are equal. Then that is called as equilateral triangle. Uh, Fine. So now coming back to this question. So you know that to solve this question, you know that the sum of two angles of the triangle should be more than the third side. The property of triangle, that the sum of two sides of the triangle. So the sum of two angles of the triangle should be more than the third side. So I'll apply that application. The sum of two sides of the triangle should be more than the third side. Well, apply this. Now this will give you x is greater than 7. Here, here the x is less than 23. Here x is greater than -7. So if I use all three of them together, so with this I can say that the value of x is between 7 and 23. So the x is more than 7 but less than 23. So this is the possible values of the triangle. So these are the possible values of the triangle. Imagine if they ask me in this problem that what is the possible values of the triangle, I could have mentioned that as answer from 8 to 22. So I can write a set having the elements from 8 to 22. Okay, so I can write the element from 8 to 22 and that would be my answer. But in this question, they're not mentioned, they are not simply asking you triangle. They have mentioned that the triangle is an obtuse angle triangle. So a triangle is an obtuse angle triangle. So for where you know that the square of the third side should be greater than the sum of square of other two sides. So if I write down the possible value of x, so if I write down the possible value of x, if I write down the possible value of x, so they are 8, 9, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 17, 18, 19, 21, 22. These are the possible value of x. So for obtuse angle triangle, you know that for obtuse angle triangle, you know that for obtuse angle triangle, you know that the c square should be greater than a square plus b square. So for obtuse angle triangle, you know that this property. So other two sides I know. So other two sides, you know the other two sides. So the three sides of the triangle is 15, 8 and x. And these are the possible values of x. Okay, so what I can do, I can say 8 square plus 8 square. So this should be less than 15 square. So yeah, this is working. So this can be one of the case. This can be one of the keys. Then 8 square plus 9 square is less than 15 square. So again, this can be the case. So you know 9 square is 81, 8 square is 72. So 15 square 225. So it's definitely this would be the value. This is working. 8 square plus 10 square less than 15 square. So 8 square 64, 10 square 100, 164. This is working. Then the fourth value can be 8 square plus 11 square less than 15 square. So 11 square is 121. 121 plus 64. So 121 plus 64. So you're getting 185. This working. Then I can say 8 square plus 12 square should be less than 15 square. So this is means 144 plus 64. This is 80208. It's working. Then 8 square plus 13 square less than 15 square. So you can see this. So 169 plus 64. So 13 to 33. You're getting more than that. So it means this is not working now. Now this is not working. Now you can see 8 square plus 14 square. Definitely this will not work because 13 is not only work. So there's no point of thinking. And definitely the 15 will not work. And so I don't think any dumb person will try this 8 square plus 15 square less than 15 square. And definitely this is not going to work. Now, now don't tell me write 8 square plus 16 square. Now if I think beyond, so if I think beyond, I can use 8 square plus 15 square less than 16 square. So you know Pythagoras theorem. You can waste your time writing this. You can waste your time writing this 8 square plus 15 square less than 17 square. This will not work because those who knows Pythagoras triplet, they know this Pythagoras triplet. They know this very well. So once if you have an idea about Pythagoras triplet, so you can understand this. So now you can understand this that this is equal. So any value, if you take any value, if you take any value, if you take any a greater than 17, definitely that a square would be greater than 8 square plus 15 square. I believe you can easily understand any value, any variable, if you take more than 17, definitely will be bigger than 15 square plus 80 square. So bigger than A means how many are there? So how many are there? Values 18, 19, 20, 21 and 22. You know this, right? Because you know the possible values that x, whatever the x here, don't get confused with A and all. Simply I use this variable A. So let me write x only then. So you know that. So here the value of x you got from 18 to 22, and here you got the value of x is from 8. These values what you got. So you got this values. These all values you got. So before that, uh, so here I can say when x was more than 15, so these are the possible values, and when x is less than 15, when x was less than 15, so then these were the values. Those values are 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So, so the total possible values of x, so total possible values of x. So the total possible value of x. So x consists of how many elements? X can be 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 18, 19, 20, 21 and 22. So x can take 10 values. So remember in your mind. So how many values the x can take? X can take any 10 values. Right? So I hope you have understood this. So this is important concept to be understand. This you can keep in your mind. Right. So we'll go ahead talking about triangles and all. Now, when we talk about a triangle, now when we are talking about triangle, the sum of interior angles in the triangle is 180 degree. The exterior angle is 360 degree. The sum of two sides of the triangle should be more than the third side. So all these, I believe, you have developed a fair picture in your mind about triangles. You have developed fair pictures in your mind about triangle. You have discussed this. So now we'll talk about geometric centers in the triangle. So let's talk about geometric centers in a triangle. So geometric centers in the triangle. So before we talk about geometric centers, the first geometric center which we'll try to study is centroid. The first geometric center what we'll study is centroid. So when we talk about centroid is basically when you talk about centroid is the point of intersection of medians of the triangle. So the point where all the medians of the triangle intersect, that is called centroid. So the point where all the medians of the triangle will intersect, that is called as centroid. So suppose this is a triangle ABC, and suppose this is a median D. Suppose this is a median D. So always remember, median always bisect the opposite side. Median always, when you talk about median, so if AD is the median, remember if AD is the median, so median, what median basically do, it will bisect the opposite side. It will bisect the opposite side. And the next thing is that it will bisect the triangle. It will bisect the triangle. Median, what median do, it bisect the triangle into two triangles of equal area. Into two triangles of equal area. Remember this. The area of triangle ABD will be equal to the area of triangle ACD. You can understand this. If you want to prove it, you can prove it also. What you can do, So if you want to prove that, in order to prove that, you can do that also. So you know that BD is equal to CD, and let me draw an altitude called AE. So now you know that I told you that the area of triangle ABD will be equal to the area of triangle ACD. Now you can do apply reverse engineering, and through reverse engineering I can go back and I can prove that from I'm going backward. So you know that the area formula, that is equal to half into base into height, and you know that BD is equal to CD, and height, that is altitude, is AE for both the triangle. So you can say that with that you can say that the area of triangle ABD will be equal to the area of triangle ADC. Okay, so you can keep in your mind that point. You can keep that in your mind always. Now, similarly, you can draw three medians. So this could be the three medians. Similarly, you can draw the three medians. So the point where the median of the triangle meet, that point is called a centroid. And always remember, centroid divide the triangle, meet centroid divide the median in the ratio 2 is to 1. So whenever you see centroid, suppose G is the centroid, so then you can remember that the centroid divide the triangle, centroid divide the median in the ratio 2 is to 1. So here you need to understand AG is to GD will be equal to 2 is to 1. You need to understand BG is to GE will be 2 is to 1. Then third thing is CG is to GF will be 2 is to 1. So the centroid divide the median and the ratio 2 is to 1. You can remember this. Okay. Keep that in your mind whenever you talk about centroid. So you can remember that the centroid divide the median in the ratio 2 is to 1. So that is very important property whenever we discuss about centroids. Fine. Then if they are if they are, suppose this is the triangle, and suppose you can remember one thing about centroid, that about median, that the sum of median that the sum of medians, like AD plus BE plus CF, that the sum of median uh, is less than the perimeter of triangle, where the perimeter of the triangle would be less than the 4 by 3 times of sum of medians. You remember this as a property. You can remember this as a property. So you can remember this as a property. Mm. So this is what I'm telling you, that the sum of median uh, is less than the perimeter of triangle, and then the perimeter of triangle would be less than the 4 by 3 times of the sum of the median. Okay, so you can remember that very important property. Then imagine if I want to construct, suppose imagine if I give you the medians of the triangle, the three length, the medians. Suppose if I give you the three medians of the triangle are 9, 12, and 15. And then if I'm asking you what is the area of the triangle. So you can remember this, when the length of median is given, then the area of triangle formed by median. So the area of triangle what you form by median is 3/4 of the area of original triangle. So you can remember this. So this is very important property. So the area of triangle what you will form by median is 3/4 of the area of the original triangle. So you can keep this in your mind. So imagine the three medians are 9, 12, and 15. Suppose it is a triangle, and the three medians of the triangle, suppose there's a triangle. There's a triangle ABC, and if this is AD, this is BE, and this is CF. If I give you AD is equal to 9 and BE is equal to 12 and CF is equal to 15, something like this, and I ask you find the area of triangle. Tell me the area of the triangle. So you know that if I give you the three sides of the triangle, you can find the area of the triangle. If I give you the three sides of the triangle, you can find the area of the triangle by using this formula. So you can use this formula. So when I give you the three sides of the triangle, where S is equal to A plus B plus C by 2. So this formula you apply, the Heroin formula, this is a formula you apply when the three sides of the triangle is given and you want to find the area of the triangle. So that Heroin formula you apply in that scenario. But here you cannot apply Heroin formula also. Here I'm not giving you the sides of the triangle. Here I gave you the medians of the triangle. So the medians of the triangle are AD, BE, and CF, and the lengths I have given you. And now I'm asking you, tell me the area of the triangle. So the property what you need to remember here is that the property what you need to remember that the area of the triangle, that the area of the triangle formed by using median, area of the triangle formed by using median. So area of the triangle formed by using median, area of the triangle formed by using median, formed by medians. So formed by using median is equal to 3/4 of the 3/4 of the area of original triangle. So you can remember this is 3/4 of the area of original triangle. So this you have to understand one thing. So how I can construct a triangle by using median? That is not possible. That is not possible that you can construct a triangle by using median. Arbitrary can I do that? Arbitrary can I create an arbitrary triangle? So here this is not possible, but here there is no possibility of having it some kind of triangle by using three medians altogether. But can I arbitrarily think about a triangle by using these three sides? So if you see this 9, 12, 15, you can understand they are following Pythagoras theorem. So you can understand they follow Pythagoras theorem. So imagine, just imagine if there is a triangle which is having these three sides as 9, 12, and 15. So what would be the area of this triangle? So what would be the area? If I ask you what would be the area, so you can apply the formula half into base into height. So you can say the area of the triangle would be 54, whatever the unit is, the 54 centimeters square or whatever unit square. So with that you can understand the area of the original triangle is 4 by 5th of 54. That would be the area of original triangle. So you can find the area of original triangle with this logic. So you can find the area of original triangle with this relationship. So with this you will get the area of original triangle is equal to 72. If you do like this way, you get the area of original triangle is equal to 72. So whatever the units are given, I am assuming a centimeter. So this would be the area of your original triangle. So I hope you understood this. So anyone have any doubt, please ask me. Now going further, what I can do, I can talking about the same concept of median and all. Talking about the same concept of median. Suppose ABC is a triangle and suppose AD is median. So in triangle ABC, if AD is the median, then there's something called Apollonius theorem. There's something called Apollonius theorem. The spelling can be wrong. So there's something called Apollonius theorem that works. Apollonius theorem applies whenever the median of the triangle is given. So you can remember that two times of AD square plus CD square or BD square will be equal to AB square plus AC square. This is called Apollonius theorem. This is called Apollonius theorem. So you can remember this. So this is called Apollonius theorem. You can see here. So two times of if AD is the median, so two times of AD square plus CD square. It doesn't matter. You take CD or BD, both are equal. That is equal to the square of the other two sides. So on which the median is not falling. That is AB square plus AC square. Similarly, B is the median. Similarly, B is the median. Then two times of B square plus AE square will be equal to AB square plus BC square. Similarly, if CF is the median, then two times of CF square plus FA square is equal to AC square plus BC square. Now, if you add all of them together, so if you add all of them together, so this is another property which you can remember. So three times of the square of the side of the triangle is equal to uh, four times of the square of the medians of the triangle. So that is the property which you can keep in your mind. Okay. Now now you know that now now what I can do. So I can write this. I can say this. If I write them in ratio, so AD square plus B square plus CF square divide by AB square plus BC square plus AC square, that would be equal to 3 by 4. Fine. Now in place of AD, AD is equal to 2 by 3 of AB. So you know that centroid divide the median in the ratio 2:1. So AD is equal to 2/3 of AB, and similarly BE. Similarly BE is equal to two-third of what BC or whatever. So two-third of the side. So AD is two-third of AD. 1 minute. No, 1 minute. 1 minute. 1 minute. 1 minute. So AD is a median. No? So now you can talk about AG. So if AG, you know that AG is two-third of AD. Okay. Then you know that BG is two-third of BE. Similarly, CG is two-third of CF. You know that. So with that, if I do the squares, so what I can do. So if I talk in the term of squares, so I can say AD square is equal to 9 by 4 of AG square. Okay, so AD square is equal to 9 by 4 here. AG square is equal to 9 by 4 of all together. You can write them the same way. So then this was equal to 3 by 4. This was equal to 3 by 4. Okay, so if you bring 9 by 4 this side, so if you bring 9 by 4 this side, so you'll get 1 by 3. Right? You understand, right? So in place of AD, I can write AG, but you know that AG is equal to two-third of AD. Similarly, I can write BG equal to two-third of BE, and similarly CG is equal to two-third of CF, and based upon that I can find the ratio. So the ratio is 1 by 3. Fine. So this was Apollonius theorem. You can remember Apollonius theorem, a very important property of Apollonius theorem. Now going further, I can talk about altitudes. So I can talk about altitudes of the triangle. So you know that altitude is straight line. So when you talk about triangle, so perpendicular straight line. So this is AD. Suppose AD is the altitude and BE is the altitude, and similarly CF is the altitude. So So the point where they meet, that is called as orthocenter. So if suppose here AD, BE and CF. Suppose AD, BE and CF are the altitudes of the triangle. They are the altitudes. We call them altitudes. Somewhere we call them altitudes. Somewhere we call them height also. Suppose they are the altitudes or the height of the triangle. So then point O is called as orthocenter. Then point O is called as orthocenter. Then the point O is called as orthocenter. So now the very important property what you can remember here, that the sum of angle BOC plus angle A, if O is the orthocenter, then you can remember that the sum of angle BOC plus angle A will be equal to 180 degrees. Similarly, the sum of angle AOC plus angle B would be equal to 180 degree. Similarly, the sum of angle AOB plus angle C would be equal to 180 degree. Very important property which you can keep in your mind. In order to prove this, if I want to prove that, so let's suppose this is theta and suppose this is alpha. Okay, so then in this triangle OBC, this would be 180 minus theta minus alpha. Okay, then if I see this triangle, what BEC, so then I can say this angle, I can say this angle is 90 minus theta minus alpha. Similarly, if I take the triangle CBF, I can say this angle is equal to 90 minus theta minus alpha. So, because one angle is 90 degree and then the sum of other two angle would be 90 degree. Okay, so then now if I consider the triangle ABC, now if I consider the triangle ABC, so now the sum of the three angle means angle A plus angle B. What is angle B? Angle B is what? This, if I add them, so theta will get cancelled. So this would be 90 minus alpha. Similarly here this would be, here alpha get cancelled. So this would be 90 minus theta. That the sum of all the three angle would be 180 degree. Now this and this will get cancelled. So I can say angle A is equal to angle alpha plus theta. So I can say angle A is equal to alpha plus theta. Now angle A is equal to alpha plus theta and angle BOC is equal to 180 minus alpha plus theta. If you add them, you will get 180 degree value. I hope you understood this. So the point what you need to remember here, so if the O is the orthocenter, you should remember this. Then the sum of the angle BOC and angle A and AOC and angle B, AOB and angle C, the sum would be 180 degree. You can remember this. So when if this is the orthocenter, so you can remember that. Now the next thing which you can remember is now, so I till now talked about two geometric center. I talked about centroid, I talked about orthocenter. Now I'll talk about in center. So now the next geometric center I'll talk about is in center. So in center we basically form, so it is the point of intersection. In center is basically it is the point of intersection of all angle bisectors of a triangle. So it is a point of intersection of angle bisectors of a triangle. When you talk about angle bisectors of the triangle, the point where the angle bisectors of the triangle meet, that point is called as in center. So suppose this is the triangle. Suppose this is the triangle ABC, and suppose this is the angle bisector. So suppose AD is the angle bisector. So suppose AD is the angle bisector. Suppose AD is the angle bisector. So you can remember one property, one theorem here, that is called internal angle bisector theorem. So if AD is the angle bisector, so you can remember this is called interior angle bisector theorem. This is called as interior angle bisector theorem. This is called interior angle bisector theorem. So according to that, a ratio of AB by AC will be equal to ratio of AB by AC will be equal to BD by DC. This is called internal angle bisector theorem. So you can remember this property, this internal angle bisector theorem, that AB by AC that would be equal to BD by DC. Okay, so this is X, this is Y, this would be also X, and this would be also Y. Remember this now. So if this is a triangle ABC, now suppose this is the exterior angle bisector. Now there is the exterior angle bisector. This is exterior angle bisector. Now this is called exterior angle bisector theorem. So not interior angle. The exterior angle of A is bisected by AD, and suppose AD is the external angle bisector. So in this triangle, now suppose AD is the external angle bisector. AD is the external angle bisector. Suppose AD is the external angle bisector. So suppose AD is the external angle bisector. So then you can remember same logic, AB by AC will be equal to BD by DC. Remember this, same what you use in internal angle bisector arrow, AB by AC is equal to BD by DC, the same thing. Remember this. So this is X, this is Y, this would be X, and this would be the Y. This is called external angle bisector theorem. Fine. Very important for a lot of questions in exam. You can expect from both this theorem, not exterior angle, but more from interior angle bisector theorem. You can definitely expect question in exam from this. Fine. 1 minute. Now I can go further, and once you understood the exterior angle bisector theorem, interior angle bisector theorem, so the point where all the three angle bisectors of the triangle meet, that point is called as incenter. So suppose there's a point called I. So suppose I am assuming that suppose there's a point I, and I'm assuming that the I is the incenter of the triangle. So if I want to draw the in circle, so what I need to do, I need to draw a perpendicular line on BC, and then keeping this as a radius, I need to draw a circle, put a compass, and I draw a circle. So this the circle what you get is you get a in circle, and this would be perpendicular to all the sides, because you know that because for this now from this for this if you understand, AC would be the tangent. So this is the property in circle, that if so a line drawn from the center of the circle to the tangent of the circle is always perpendicular to the tangent. So this is a property what we learn in chapter called tangent. So for this circle, all these sides would be the tangent for the would be the tangent for the circle. This is called in circle. Normally, the radius of the circle we represent with small r symbol. Normally, we represent the radius with the symbol called small r. So you can remember that. Okay, this is called in circle, and then in the radius of that is called in radius. Always remember that the what you say in center is equidistant from all the sides of the triangle, so that you can understand. Now what you can do now. Now, if you know that I is the angle bisector, if you know that I is the angle bisector, so now if you know that I is the angle bisector, if you know I is the angle bisector, so you can remember the property that angle BIC is equal to 90 degree plus half of angle A. So this is the property you remember if I is the angle bisector. This property will work if I is the in center. If I is the in center, so then this property works. So similarly, angle AIB, AIC I said no, no I said BIC. Okay, correct. So AIB, that would be 90 degree plus half of which angle? AIB, half of angle C. Then if I say AIC, then if I say AIC, that would be 90 degree plus half of angle B. Okay, so remember this. Now, how to prove this? So, for proving this, this would be B by 2, this would be C by 2, and this would be 180 minus B by 2 minus C by 2. Okay. Now, what is this? This is, what is this? This is 180 minus B minus C. Okay. So, if you want to establish the relation between them, so if you want to establish the relationship between them, so I can write angle BIC is equal to 180 degree minus half of angle B minus half of angle C. This I can write. So I can write angle BIC is equal to 360 degree minus angle B plus angle C by 2. So I can say, so angle BIC is equal to 360 degree minus what is B plus C? That is nothing but that is 180 degree minus angle A. Okay, this divide by 2. So so I can say angle BIC will be equal to 180 degree plus angle A by 2. So I can say angle BIC equal to 90 degree plus half of angle A. So you can remember this. Right. So very important property. Relation between this ortho, the relation between this all are very important. Ortho, center, circumcenter, in center, everything is very important. Fine. Now going further, similarly, if I mention that if this is a triangle ABC, if suppose suppose this is exterior angle bisector. Now this angle and this angle is equal. This angle and this angle is equal. So here, if I say BI and CI are external angle bisector, they are external angle bisectors. They are external angle bisectors. Then the property what we use here, that the angle BIC will be equal to 90 degree minus half of angle A. So this is the property. So let's prove this property. So let's prove this property. So you know that this is 180 minus B minus C. You know this. Okay, now this is B. So this is 180 minus B. Okay, you understand? No? This is 180 minus B. So half of that is 90 minus B by 2. Half of that is 90 minus B by 2. Half of this is 90 minus C by 2. You understand? No? This is C. So this angle now, if this is C, you understand? No? If this is C, you understand this is 180 minus B, and because this is a straight line, so if this is the angle bisector, so half of that would be what? So half of that would be 90 minus B by 2. This is 90 minus B by 2. This is 90 minus B by 2. This is 90 minus B by 2. And this is 90 minus C by 2. So what would be this angle? So the angle BIC would be this is 90 minus B by 2. This is 90 minus C by 2. And the sum is 180 degrees. So I can say angle BIC minus angle B by 2 minus angle C by 2 equal to 0 degree. The 90 will get cancelled. So I can say 2 times of angle BIC is equal to angle B plus angle C. So I can say 2 times of angle BIC. Now angle B plus angle C is 180 minus angle A. You know this. So I can write angle BIC is equal to 90 minus half of angle A. This is what you had to prove. Fine. So I hope you understanding. So these all proofs and all is important to understand geometry. So more we understand proof, it would be better for us to work on geometry. So till now I told you about which geometric centers. Till now I told you about centroid. I talked about orthocenter. I talked about then in center. Now the next thing to discuss is the circumcenter. Next thing to discuss is the circumcenter. The next thing to discuss is the circumcenter. So suppose there's a triangle ABC. Suppose there's a triangle called ABC. So now I want to draw the perpendicular bisector. So when I'm drawing perpendicular bisector, doesn't mean that the perpendicular bisector has to cross the vertices. So it should be perpendicular, at the same time it should bisect it. And draw the perpendicular bisectors. So draw the perpendicular bisectors. So whatever the point the perpendicular bisectors will meet, so you understand that point is called as circumcenter. So that point where all the perpendicular bisectors of the triangle meet, that point is called as circumcenter. Okay. This is B, this is C, and suppose this is point O is the circumcenter where all the perpendicular bisectors of the triangle meet. Now what you can do, if you put your compass at the circumcenter and take the radius at OA, OB and OC, and if you draw a circle, you can draw a circumcircle. So the point where all the perpendicular bisectors of the triangle meet, so that point is called a circumcenter. And from that point, if you keep a compass and try to draw a circle, making OA and OB and OC. So OA, OB and OC, that point, that circumcenter is equidistant from the vertices of the triangle. In center is equidistant from the sides of the triangle. So remember this property, that the in center is equidistant from the sides of the triangle, while the circumcenter is equidistant from the vertices of the triangle. And then if you draw a circle, that circle is called a circumcircle. So that circle is called a circumcircle. So that you can remember. Now Now this is a property of circle that angle BOC will be double of angle A. Okay, similarly angle AOC will be double of angle B. Similarly angle AOB, similarly angle AOB will be double of angle C. So you can remember it is a property of a circle that the angle the angle form uh, within the same arc. So the angle formed on the circumference of the circle are equal, while the angle formed at the center of the circle is always double than the angle which is formed on the circumference of the circle. So you can remember this property, very important property. You can remember that. Now, based on that property, mm, based on this, so So I more or less I discussed the theory part with all of you. This is all I have discussed, all the proof I have done. This is all I have proved. Now the next thing you can remember this formula, very important. I told you about circumcircle. I told you about incircle. The radius of circumcircle is called circumradius, while the radius of incircle is called inradius. Circumradius we represent with capital R. Inradius we represent with small r. This is the relation between circumradius and inradius. So d square is equal to r into capital R into R, capital R minus 2R, and you know that d square means square of any number is always positive. So with that you can say that R, this you can say that capital R would R minus 2R, small r would be always greater than equal to 0. So the ratio of circumradius and inradius is always greater than equal to 2, while the ratio of circumradius and inradius it become equal to 2 in case of equilateral triangle, while in rest other cases, so the ratio of circumradius and inradius that is always more than 2. You can remember this. Now try to solve this question. Everyone, please try to solve this question. Now you can see this in triangle OBC. O is the point O is the point of intersection of altitude. So O is the point of intersection of altitude means O is the what you call orthocenter, and I is the point of intersection of angle bisector means I is the in center. Now this angle BOC is given to you. So you know that in case of orthocenter, you know that angle BOC plus angle A, their sum would be 180 degree. Already we discussed this. So value of angle A would be 180 minus 112 means it would be 68 degree. Okay, you know that. Now they're asking you angle BIC. So you know that if BIC, so if I is the in center, then you know that BIC is 90 degree plus half of angle A. So I can find angle BIC is 90 degree plus half of angle A means 34 degree. So that is 124 degree. Simple calculation. Now this is the next question. Next question is that in the triangle, the angle at the orthocenter is 15 degree more than the angle at the in center. So angle at the orthocenter. So the angle. So suppose same parameter. Suppose BOC is the O is the orthocenter and I is the incenter. Okay, remember that. So O is the orthocenter and I is the incenter. So remember that. So you know that angle BOC is 15 degree is 15 degree. Angle BOC is 15 degree more than angle BIC. Okay, so you can write them in the context of this. So you know that angle BOC plus angle A is 180 degrees. So in I can write in place of BOC, I can write 180 minus angle A. So I can write 180 minus angle A. This is 15 degree plus in place of BIC, I can write 90 plus half of angle A. Just simply substitute everything. So you can write this as 180 minus 90 minus 15 is equal to 3 by 2 of angle A. So this is 90 minus 15, 75, 3 by 2 of angle A. So the value of angle A would be 50 degree. So you can find the value of angle A. The value of angle A is 50 degree. So this I did. We'll talk about equilateral triangle later. Okay, fine. So see this question. This would be our last question. So other thing I already discussed. Equilateral triangle we'll discuss not right now. Okay. So in the diagram here, side BC and AB of the triangle are produced to D and F. So side BC is produced to D and this is produced to F. And that this is given the sum of x plus y is greater than 210 degree. So the sum of angle x plus angle y is 210 degree. Find the minimum value of z. So this x plus y. So now what you can do, you can write this as 180 minus y, and this you can write as 180 minus x, and you know that the sum of this would be 360. This would be 360 minus x minus y plus z, and the sum would be 180 degree. So I can say that 180 degree, uh, 180 degree plus z is equal to x plus y. 180 degree plus z is equal to x plus y. Now you know that for x and y, the values is more than 210 degree. So suppose what would be the minimum value? So the minimum value, what would be the minimum value of x plus y? So that is more than 210 degree. So let the minimum value, I'm considering calculating the minimum value of z. So then the minimum value of z would be 30 degree. 30 degree, so the z value would be 30 degree or more than 30 degree. Right? So that would be option D. Right? This question already I did in beginning only. Equilateral triangle we'll discuss in future. So guys, I believe that you have learned something from this concepts on triangles and all. So we'll continue our discussion on triangle. Triangle altogether is very vast topic, and lot of things need to discuss in triangle. So I hope you enjoyed our discussion on triangle. So remember what all I have told you about triangle, the properties of the triangle, that the interior angles of the triangle is 180 degree. Exterior angle is equal to the sum of interior opposite angle, and the sum of two sides of the triangle is more than the third side. The difference of two sides of the triangle is less than the third side. Then I talked about different geometric centers like centroid, orthocenter, incenter, circumcenter. While from in center we draw in circle, uh, with the in circle, when you talk about in center is equidistant from all the sides of the triangle, while the point where all the angle bisectors meet, that create the in center, while the point where all the perpendicular bisector means that create the circumcenter, and circumcenter is equidistant from all the vertices of the triangle. Fine. So when we talk about the centroid divide the median in the ratio 2:1. We should know Apollonius theorem, internal angle bisector theorem, external angle bisector theorem. So all these are very important. What all I have done till now are very important to understand the concept of triangle. So I believe you have enjoyed our discussion on the triangle. So with that intention, I like to wind up this session. So thank you everyone. Keep learning. If you liked my session, please click on the like button and please subscribe to my channel. If you already subscribed, then thank you. Take care everyone. Bye.